down the front stretch. Everybody up, wave this crowd on. They're ready to go. 75 laps of clean and green racing, ready to roll off. Next time around, the white flag is flying. Signal to the drivers. They'll see green out of turn number 4. As we look at the field down here in front, the fireworks across the way, the shower of sparks. As we look for the pace car off at turn number 2, making its way down the back stretch to turn number 3. The pace truck will get out of harm's way down to the infield off in turn number 3. Up on the front row, it's Danny Johnson and Tim McCready ready to roll away off turn 4. Bob Bigelow, clenched green flag in hand. We are ready to roll off turn 4. CVRA versus the world. Down to turn number 1 for the first time. McCready on the high side. Danny Johnson on the inside. They're side by side off turn number 2. And Timmy Mack is going to lead them to turn 3 for the first time. McCready up on the high side of the speedway off turn number 4. But here comes DJ back down low. 1 lap now in the books. Tim McCready shown as your leader. And David Leip is in trouble in turn 4. Trouble in turn 4. Dave Leip's 22 car has slowly rolled to a stop up on the high side. So yellow is out as they come off of turn number 4. Green flag is out, and we're back underway. This time it'll be Danny Johnson winning the race down at turn number 1. Timmy Mack up on the high side off turn number 2. They look at going 3 wide for a moment there off turn 2, but McCready with a burst of power will lead the way down to turn 3. McCready on the outside now sees Danny Johnson get by on the inside, and here comes the 44 of Frank Cozy. Cozy on the move down to the inside, and Cozy looking at a low line. Danny Johnson going to lead him off at turn number 2, the 39 of Tim McCready right there hot on his heels. Got cars together in turn number 2. Mike Perotti with the 35 car slowly rolls off at turn number 2, and that will bring yellow out on the speedway. It is Jeff Trombley and Jack Johnson side by side in row number 3. Down to turn number 1 they go. Look at Jeff Trombley use the inside line. Tim McCready will lose 3 spots down the backstretch. Make it 4 now as they get to turn number 3. Danny Johnson out front off of turn number 4. Second spot will be the 44 of Frank Cozy, and now Jeff Trombley working the inside line as they come down here to turn number 1. Cozy now working off of turn number 2. Jack Johnson going to work on Pat Ward. Jeff Trombley that time didn't get off of turn number 2 so well, and that's going to allow the 42 of Ward to close on him. Off turn 4, Johnson, your leader. The race is back through the pack right now as Jeff Trombley sits there in 3rd spot. Pat Ward goes to the outside of him, and here comes the Dreamweaver down low. Brian Weaver cracks the top 5 as he gets by the 12A of Jack Johnson down off at turn number 2. Your leader, Danny Johnson, clicking off lap number 5 as they come by here into turn number 1. Cars together in turn 1. Brian Weaver and Jeff Trombley come together up here in the corner. Trombley slowed up a bit. That allowed Pat Ward to get by. And Ward now, your 3rd place man. Matt Shepard down in the infield. Looks like Shepard off the pace to the infield, the 44 car. The Randy Ross owned automobile. Now Jeff Trombley in trouble on the backstretch. Trombley off turn number 2 will bring yellow out onto the speedway. And green is back out. Cars together off turn 4. Yellow will come out immediately. So yellow is out. 4 cars involved. There's a battle for the lead, shaping up off of turn number 2. Frank Cozy is taking the outside lane, and he'll take the lead down to turn 3. Danny Johnson battles him back on the inside. Cozy had a wheel ahead, and here they come to the line, and Danny Johnson has a wheel ahead. Danny Johnson and Frank Cozy side by side for a moment, but now it's Cozy setting up off of turn number 2. Here comes Danny Johnson back to the inside. Danny Johnson and Frank Cozy side by side through turn 3 and 4. Down the front stretch, Cozy off the outside wall. Frank Cozy bounced off the outside retaining wall right back in the gas off turn 2. Here comes Cozy to the back bumper, and I do mean the back bumper of Danny Johnson. Johnson and Cozy 1-2. Now they come together in turn 4. Danny Johnson sitting on the front. Frank Cozy all over the back bumper of the 1J car. Johnson, your leader down the back stretch. Cozy riding in second. Third spot is the 9 of Weaver. Fourth position is Hearn. Working the high side of turn number 4 is the M1 car of Tim Fuller. Fuller on the charge down here to turn 1. They come off at turn number 2. The race for third spot goes side to side. Brett Hearn working the outside line on the 9 of Brian Weaver. Weaver down low. Hearn up high off turn number 4. Here's a bid for the lead once again down at turn number 1. Danny Johnson hanging on to the point, but it is Frank Cozy all over the backside of the 1J car. Johnson and Cozy 1-2. Hearn now shows third as they come off at turn number 4. Johnson in 6th, 7th is Pat Ward, 8th spot is Billy Decker, 9th is the 20 of Stuart Friesen, and rounding out your top 10, the number 1 of Gary Tompkins. That's your top 10, the way they run. Here comes Cozy up to the high side once again. Danny Johnson will see the front wheels working the high side, and he will take the lead down to turn 3. Tim McCready dropped from the event with 21 laps showing on the scoreboard. And Frank Cozy will take the lead as they click off lap number 22. Here comes Brett Hearn. Hearn on the high side. He'll go around the outside of Danny Johnson. He'll set sights on the 44 of Cozy. Hearn on the inside. Cozy on the outside. Cozy shuts the door in turn number 3. Cozy now off turn number 4. Body damage is imminent on the 44 car. Working the high side now. Danny Johnson trying to hold off the challenge of Brett Hearn. Hearn working down to the inside. Hearn now breaks free for second spot. He'll try and run down your leader, Frank Cozy. Cozy and Hearn run 1-2. Small block power under the hoods of your top 2 cars. Back in third spot is the number 9 car as they come off of turn 2, and that time Tim Fuller caught the inside wall. Fuller with the M1 car caught the inside retaining wall, and Jack Johnson and Danny Johnson pulled away. Now lap traffic up in front of your leaders. The 44 of Cozy working with a left front flat on that car, and he'll work off of turn number 4. Got one slow on the backstretch. That is Danny Johnson. One around here in turn 1 as well. Mike Rickey sits on the high side of turn 1 with the 17 car. So 2 separate instances to find to the infield, and Cozy goes to the high side but will not pull down into the pit area. Frank Cozy's 44 car working down on the inside. Now Brett Hearn going to get position on the inside. Swing back to the high side. Hearn's got to take the long way around. When Hearn goes to the high side, the 4 car of the 9 car of Weaver looks down low. Now it'll be Hearn working the outside line off of turn number 4. Brett Hearn is your new leader. Jack Johnson out of shape that time off of turn number 4. Jack Johnson sitting back there in 5th spot as they work their way down off of turn number 2. 29 laps in the books as they come down through turn 3 and 4. The 17 of Rickey down off the racing surface. The 4 of Hearn is your leader. Coming down here, that time Don Rocco a little bit out of shape up in front of Pat Ward, and Ward sitting there in 4th. Here's a battle for second spot. Jack Johnson swinging to the outside of the M1 car of Tim Fuller. Jumping Jack, working the outside line. Fuller on the inside, Johnson on the outside, and give the position to Jack Johnson. Off turn 2, Jack Johnson now takes sole possession of spot number 2. Down to turn number 3. Your 3rd place car, now the M1 of Tim Fuller. 4th place automobile, Pat Ward, within striking distance. Cozy's in trouble in turn 1. Yellow will come out. 8th spot is the 20 of Stuart Friesen. The 5 car next in line, that is J.R. Hefner. Alan Johnson next in position. Now Pat Ward going to try and get a run down to the inside of Tim Fuller. Ward using that caution to his benefit. He's going to use the inside line and go to work on Fuller off turn 4. Here comes Pat Ward down low off turn 4. Ward, your new 2nd place man. While up front, we may be looking for a classic Jack Johnson and Brett Hearn battle for the lead. Down to turn number 3, it's Jumpin' Jack looking down to the inside of Brett Hearn. Here comes Johnson down low. Brett Hearn will try and throw the block down low. He shuts the door to turn number 1. And Jumpin' Jack now gonna set another groove down the backstretch up to turn number 3. He'll go to the high side. Brett Hearn taking a low line as they come off of turn number 4. Your third place man is Pat Ward with a 42 car now. He rides there in third, closing ground behind the 12A of Jack Johnson. Down to the inside, Ward taking a look down low off turn 2. Fourth spot is the M1 car. Down the backstretch, Billy Decker with a run down the backstretch. Decker on the outside of Fuller. They go side to side up to turn number 3. Billy Decker on the high side, Fuller on the inside. That's a side-by-side battle for fourth spot. Decker up high with the advantage. Here comes Fuller right back at him on the inside. They've got Decker's teammate dead ahead of them. That's Pat Ward. Ward in third spot. Decker now fourth. Fifth spot will be the M1 of Fuller. Hearn down across the stripe. Yellow is out for De Lorenzo. No, one car up between turn 3 and 4. That's Weaver's number 9. 62 are in. Only 13 remain as they come down off of turn number 4. Up off of turn number 2, down the back chute, it will be Brett Hearn showing the way. Here comes Pat Ward trying to close ground on Jack Johnson. That'll be a race for the second spot. If Ward can catch Jumpin' Jack down off of turn number 4. Ward got a good run down off the corner, but Jumpin' Jack strong on the inside line. Back there in fourth spot is Billy Decker. Tim Fuller rides fifth, and still one spot out of a top 5 run is Gary Tompkins. But here comes Tompkins. He'll close ground on the M1 car of Tim Fuller. Up through turns 3 and 4. Once again, the 20 car of Friesen and the 8 car of Cottrell. Good run back there for those two automobiles. They currently ride back in 7th and 8th spot, respectively. And down off turn number 4, 70 are in, 5 remain for the Jersey Jet on the front of this one. Brett Hearn working off of turn number 2. Hearn looking to pick up the $10,000 payday from Coors Light and the CVRA versus the world victor. Down through turn 1 and 2, Jack Johnson has got Hearn within sight, but he has not been able to do anything with them as they go down to turn number 3. They'll click off lap 72, this time by 72 are in, only 3 remain for the driver, the 4-star 4 car, Brett Hearn. Looking to put win number 4 on the season here at the Great Race Place. He's got 3 regular Friday night victories. This one, number 4, will be the big one as he gets the 2 to go sign, this time by. 2 laps remaining for Brett Hearn. Slower traffic dead ahead. That'll be Vince Quinville Jr. Down here off of turn number 2, down the backstretch into turn number 3. Hearn now going to catch Quinville off of turn number 4. White flag is displayed, this time by. White flag out for Hearn down here off turn 2. Once he clears Quinville, he has got clear sailing. Brett Hearn takes it to turn number 3. Off turn 4 for the final time. Double checkers, the win goes to Brett Hearn. Jack Johnson finishes second. Third goes to Pat Ward. Fourth spot to Billy Decker. Finishing in 5th is the M1 of Tim Fuller. 6th spot is Gary Tompkins. 7th to Jack Cottrell. 8th to Stuart Friesen. 9th position to the 14J of Alan Johnson. And rounding out your top 10 is the 5 of J.R. Hefner. That your top 10 as Brett Hearn will go to victory lane.
Right here, Bob. Up here, smiling gentlemen. One more time. Give it to
Talk about the decision to use a small block as opposed to a big block. You've run here well in the past couple of weeks. Was that the decision?
Yeah, I think that just knowing the track and knowing what a small block, how well a small block fits this track, we'd be kind of silly to come here with a big block. Although the big blocks really held up very well tonight, better than I thought. You know, Pat got a third, and he was very competitive. And the other big blocks qualified real well, but I thought in the end the race would come to a small block. And nobody's got a better small block than Vinny Salerno in this 4-star car. I'll tell you what, it's awesome. And believe it or not, this isn't the same car we run here on Friday nights. This car is the car we use on the tour. It has a little bit more horsepower, but we figured that coming here and run a little bit different tire was going to be a clean sheet of paper anyway. So there's no sense of coming here thinking that we were going to run our Goodyear setup and be as good as we are on Friday nights. We come here with this car and just wipe the paper clean and start from scratch, and we did that, man. These guys did a great job. Got ready to go out for hot laps, and I got in the car, went to start it, blew the battery apart, almost blew the seat out of the car. They got in there and fixed that thing, and with no hot laps, we made some good guesses on setup with Jay Castlemore doing the tires, and he had everything I needed ready, and Vinny and I talked about some setup changes. We just made a big guess, you know. It worked out really well.